Minecraft early hours. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget the old school Minecraft elevator. Yeah, that could work too. All right, I will be back in probably about 15-20 minutes. We're just gonna go down to the store real quick. I'll be back in just a moment, and then we'll do space news on the other side of this, and yeah, and we'll go from there. I'm gonna try to, if there's not too, I mean, we got the Soyuz launch to watch, and how long is that? When is that? Here, let me go on rocket launch. Okay, so that's in about 2 hours. So, yeah, okay, yeah. Space News will be about an hour and a half, and we'll end with the Soyuz launch, and then we'll jump into KSP, and we got to work on that rescue mission. So, we'll do Space News now on the other side of the break. And, yeah. Yeah, exactly, Ivo. All right, so I will be back in probably about 15-20. Don't go anywhere. Still plenty of stream left. Thank you very much for watching.
Discovery, go at throttle up. 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 Go and throttle up.
All right, dudes. I'm just got back. Sorry, we went to the store and got some food. Yeah, okay. Let me just scarf this and then we'll go from there. All right. Let's get to it. So, we got a Soyuz launch in about an hour. The Soyuz OneWeb. We're going to end space news on the Soyuz launch. And we're going to get into Kerbal probably around 6:30. Somewhere around there. I just burnt my tongue on coffee. Did they tell us why it aborted? It had something to do with the payload on board. It wasn't the rocket. They made it very clear. So anyway, sorry that break took a little bit longer, guys. I went and got two dobies. Let me just put that down over here. Gotta find a spot. I can't put it where I usually put it because I just sprayed wasp repellent there. So I'll just put it right there. I mean, we could do that with the helicopters, dude. It's not a problem. Alright. Okay, so we got the Soyuz launch. It's scheduled for liftoff at about 6:18, so that's about an hour and 20 minutes away, give or take. Little over an hour and 20 minutes. So we'll jump into the rest of the space news from here. The Boring Company, who we haven't heard from in a little while, posted this today. Prufrock 2 is alive in Tejas, in Texas. The Wasps return. Yeah, one came in today. I got him, though. But, yeah, it's a little annoying. An F-35 style tilt engine thing sounds fun. Yeah, maybe. The auto gyro helicopters that we made, though, Doom, are really, really good. Where is this in Texas, though? That's what I'm wondering. Prufrock is designed to tunnel at a speed greater than 1 mile per week, which is 6 times faster than the Boring Company's previous generation TBM Godot. Way simpler, I dig it. It's in Austin. Interesting. I wonder what they're going to use it for there. Anyway. New mission patch is up for sale in KSC. They took the name we created. Oh. Oh, that's mean. That's messed up. Yeah, Shado, now we're talking. That's messed up. Anyway, next bit of space news. What if you had a 3-rotor heli, 2 forward rotors and 1 in the back? 1 large main rotor and the secondary back one would balance the torque of the big one. Doom, I made one of these. My sky crane is based off of the SB-1 Defiant. I made one of these, which I can explain more a little bit later. That picture. Long story short, contra-rotating helicopter, so it's nice and balanced, and then a backward-facing propeller engine, and you can disengage the clutch on the back engine. And you can, but here's the thing, you can also disengage the clutch on these as well. And you can get those to auto gyro. I made one of these with a sky in a sky crane variant. Yeah. Dude, that helicopter that we have is nuts. The KH-3 is a really, really good piece of equipment. It's one of my more useful things. Because if you can get this thing to auto-gyro, and then you use that to propel you forward, contra-rotating props will defeat retreating blade stall pretty easily. The helicopter will still want to do this, but it has a huge rear stabilizer to help trim that out, and that means, dude, I gotta show you. You gotta see how fast the SB-1 can go. And the noise is unbelievable. It's actually a really cool piece of kit. Yeah. Here, let's see if we got some noise. Yeah, listen to this. And mine has jets for forward propulsion too. That is not the noise I'm expecting from a helicopter. That thing is using the prop with reverse trim to go backwards right now. It's using the backwards engine. The backward engine is like a propeller motor. You have variable trim. I know about the Rotodyne checkered, yeah. Here, watch. Let's see. Let's see if there's some pictures of it doing a flyby. This thing is fast as balls. It's faster than a Lynx, which is the fastest helicopter. Helicopters really don't do too well in transonic, dude. They really don't. They don't do very well. See last. Okay. Can I get perms to post a link? Go ahead. We gotta find a better video.
Wolfpack 37, this is Ghost Rider 2-1. Passing Geronimo. Ghost Rider 2-1, Wolfpack 37, roger. Copy, Geronimo. Roger, 3 minutes.
I mean, this thing can do anything that a V-22 can do, which is pretty cool, and it's much less complicated. Yeah, it can do that. Contra rotators, man, you can do that. You can land on one wheel. Just keep it there, it'll be fine.
Sikorsky Boeing Future Vertical Lift. Assault and attack.
I used to not like the look of this, but it's growing on you. Yeah, no, I thought it was weird looking at first too, but the more I look at it, the more I like it. AJ, I'm kind of the same way. It can stop faster than a V-22. Yep. So how this thing works, guys, or at least this is how as I understand. I could be wrong on this. I'm fairly confident that there is a drive shaft that goes back here to the rear prop, and then there's two drive shafts that are inside of each other. One is inside of the other that go to the counter rotating props on top, right? Like that's pretty normal stuff for a helicopter like this, except for that part isn't. But on the drive shaft, there's a clutch, like on the transmission. There's a clutch for these things as well, for the drive shafts up here, and they can shut this. Excuse me, I scarfed that bowl way too fast. They can shut this off. They can basically disengage the clutch, and that thing will just freely spin, right? And when they're doing that, this thing will just, fly around like a helicopter. But then you can shut these things off and power that over here. And when you do that, these things will just auto-gyro. They'll just spin because they'll pinwheel. Like if you blow on a pinwheel, it'll turn the pinwheel, right? They'll just spin, and they can use this engine to just, and then it works like a single engine airplane. But the auto gyroing, the helicopter blades spinning back and forth, are acting as the wings. Those are basically the wings. They're using the helicopter blade as wings. So this thing can go as fast as an airplane with a single propeller. So like 300, 400, 500 miles an hour, which is booking for a helicopter, or it can act like a helicopter. I mean, that's what makes this thing cool. And because it has contra-rotators, it's very powerful. You need a lot of torque to turn blades that big. But see how the blades don't look like helicopter blades? They look kind of like a wing almost. That's entirely on purpose. And see how the rotor assembly is inside of a fairing? That's really, really, really... That's because it's designed to go fast, basically. Yeah, see? Advanced drive system. I don't even want to know what that gearbox looks like. Helicopter blades are wings. Yeah, okay. I know, Louisa, but yeah. See? See, there's a clutch back here. They can disengage this thing.
Active vibration control. Foldable rotor system.
Active vibration control? Yeah, that's called contra-rotating propellers.
Pusher prop.
Now, mine can't do that.
With active
yeah, see? Pusher prop with clutch. Yeah, see?
With active rudders and elevators. An all-composite fuselage. Crew of 4 with a cabin for 12 combat-equipped troops.
That's more than a Black Hawk.
Employment in all modes of flight.
Oh, yeah, don't shoot back there.
And enhanced medevac capacity for 8 litters.
I'll get it, Grub.
Future vertical lift will provide superior speed, range, and payload performance.
No, King.
In addition to these improvements, FEL development, sustainment.
What's that over there? Why do aerospace contractors always do this in promo videos? They always show like, oh, it could be like this if you buy this, you know? That's an Apache with a... Oh, that's cool. Future light attack dish. That thing is money, dude. That thing's so cool.
Costs and schedule are minimized through extensive commonality across assault and attack variants.
Heard this story before.
Engines,
with the Huey.
Propulsor, empennage and flight controls, crew station, mission equipment package.
This thing is dope, dude. These things are really cool. And you can make this in KSP. It's totally doable. Air Cobra. Straight up, dude.
Analysis and validation with variant-specific airframe and mission equipment. FEL will provide significantly increased...
Why do they keep showing this around desert mountains? What's that about? What are they? Are they practicing up in the Sierra Nevadas? Why is all these buildings made out of sandstone?
Flexibility,
What the hell's that about?
superior speed, and high hot 6K 95 performance. Exceptional hover
It's not
control,
funny.
and low speed maneuverability to meet the demands of high threat complex environments.
You saw
Extended
nothing.
mission range and endurance. Pusher prop enabled level body rapid acceleration and deceleration for improved...
Yeah, they can reverse the blade pitch and the thing will... It'll stop on a dime.
and maneuverability.
Yeah, that's right, Ando. Yeah.
Relative rotor downwash for debarking and embarking of troops. Dramatically reduced acoustic signature. And improved payload capacity.
Hey.
Foldable rotor system for strategic and
Look, they even got the C-17. Oh,
expeditionary
this is bad.
deployment. And an aerial refueling capability via KC-130J and next-generation Air Force tankers. As well as significantly reduced development,
Yeah, do 'em right.
training, and life cycle costs. Sikorsky Boeing.
Honest question from a European here. But can you actually just buy this if you're rich enough, or is there military allied countries military? Jonas, sometimes they have civilian versions. Yeah. So check this out. Sometimes they'll make civilian versions of it for profit. Like, okay, all right. It's not, but it also is. There is a, so like the Boeing 707 is just a B-52 with passenger seats. It really is. Like, I know they don't look the same, but you can't sit here and look at me and say that, you know, somebody at Boeing's like, oh, we should use the technology from this bomber to build a passenger liner. We're already getting paid to build thousands of bombers. We might as well build a passenger liner too. All the tech is derived from a B-52 for the 707. You know, time period correct, you know? So they do that sometimes. Here, check this out. He said doo-doo. So look at this. If you got a couple $1,000,000 lying around, you can go buy a Lockheed Martin 100J. Pretty much, Cerebral, yeah. Can you look up Raider X? Sure, Stone. Grav, what did you want me to see? Here you go. Oh, that's cool. I'll check that out later. Alright, this whole thing is really confusing to me. I've never seen commercials for military hardware before. Dude, our defense industry is a little lucrative, so you often see adverts for weapon systems. Yeah, not on the you don't see this stuff on the television, dude. Don't get me wrong. This would be shown at like a conference or something. That's what these promo videos are for. Ah, the GTA plane, pretty much. But yeah, I mean, this is... Alright, John, this is the kind of stuff they show politicians. Alright? Which is why Blue Origin with their... to take this back into spaceflight. That's why Blue Origin with their infographics... Dude, those infographics aren't for us. Just like this damn promo for attack helicopters is not for us. We're not buying one of these. I mean, that would be cool. I'd take one of these. I don't need that. I don't have any use for this. I'm sure somebody would somewhere, but I want this one. I could have some fun with this. I mean, not going to say you can't have fun with that either, but
superior hover performance and unmatched maneuverability. The way forward.
These things are pretty cool. So yeah, that's what it's for, dude. They show this stuff at like they call them like summits and conferences and stuff, and it's like, oh, the Conference for National Defense or something. That's just a made-up name. That's the kind of stuff that they do over here, man. Our defense industry is pretty lucrative. I mean, nobody's going to sit here and say that you can't make a lot of money from that. Like, that's... Oh, you can. Ask Wario over there. He is. Duck hunting with an attack helicopter. The reason why we have weapons ain't for duck hunting, bro. I think people get confused real quick. Anyway, let's see this. Let's check this out. Actually, yeah, Jonas, in Texas, that's actually a good point, Tylen. In Texas, you could get paid to actually, you'd get paid to fly around in a helicopter. Like, the government in Texas will pay you to go around an attack helicopter and kill wild boar because it's a intrusive species. Wild boar in Texas. Oh yeah, big problem. Big problem out in the fields. They eat everything, and their wild boar will kill you. Yep. Yeah, there you go, Ansel. Yeah, upsell. All the time, yeah. Upsell. Alright, let's see what we got. The Raider X. Stone, you wanted me to see this.
Sikorsky have always been on the forefront of game-changing technology and innovation. But technological breakthroughs don't happen overnight. Building upon our history of reliability and safety, while developing revolutionary advancements in aviation, has truly set us apart from other aircraft manufacturers. It is this
We're better than you, but we don't want to say that.
Combination of our pioneering heritage,
there's Igor.
The determination of our current engineers.
That's not Igor.
That allows us to forge the path forward to the future and continue the Sikorsky legacy in aeronautical engineering.
Yeah, look at that thing. Look at it go. That thing is so cool. They're as big as a freaking buffalo, dude. Boars are freaking huge. Not as big as a buffalo, but close. Nah, I like the Defiant. I think the Defiant's cooler looking than this, but that still is cool. Look at that. Alright. Hold on a second, fellas. Okay, right there. Back it up. You see what that's doing right now, right? Build a helicopter in KSP and try to get it to do that. Try to get it to hover with the nose pointing down. Yeah, do that. See what happens. You cannot do that. You need this. You need the prop to be able to pull you. Because if you nose down the helicopter, it's going to go forward. So what they're doing right there is demonstrating that they can nose down hover because the blade is pushing air that way. The rear blade is pushing air towards the front, and those blades are pushing air down. And if you pitch that blade correctly, if you get the right variable pitch for that to move the exact amount of air to cancel out the forward force, that thing can just hover. It can hover like this. It can hover like that. It can hover not sideways, but you can nose down hover. So if you want to go and land that thing like you wanted to land it on a skyscraper, you could do that. You could touch one wheel down on the top of a skyscraper and have the other wheels just kind of sitting there, and it could sit on the edge. Chinooks can do that. The reason that Chinooks can do that is because they have two blades far apart from each other, and you can set differential collective pitch between the blades. What that means is basically the Chinook is some black magic. Yeah, that's what that means. That would be useful for picking things up off the ground. You're not wrong. Yeah. That's helicopter mode. Wait a minute. Hold on. "205 knots. That's really, really fast. Yeah, the reason why it's not making much helicopter noise is because the helicopter blades aren't pitched. They're not collective pitch. They're just kind of sitting there and they're disengaged. The propeller is what's making the noise there. It sounds like an airplane. And then when it's in helicopter mode, the blades... Oh, that thing is so cool, man. That's so damn cool. It does sound like it, Jason, doesn't it? That's what the KH-3 does. That's what our helicopter does. I could dial it in a little bit more if you guys wanted to. We could dial it in more with the advanced control systems, but that's kind of a little bit of a tangent project, you know? But yeah, that's cool stuff. Those helicopters are really neat. Anyway, back over to space news. All right, so Jessica Meyer posted this yesterday. Today we evaluated the internal configuration of the NASA Orion spacecraft that will carry NASA astronauts back to the moon. Cargo stow, building a radiation shelter, and practice donning and doffing the suit. Every day in a NASA spacesuit is a good day. Oh, there they are inside of the Orion trainer. Nah, it's y'all Americans have had some weird measurement systems. Should we tell them? Knots ain't ours, dude. Just like feet ain't ours either. Okay. Okay, zero thought joke. They're wearing masks with spacesuits on. Okay, sorry. That's a dumb joke. But also, you know, you really don't want to get COVID, wear a spacesuit. They're not going to wear the damn spacesuit when they're in the training. Like, they're not going to steal the helmet in the training simulator unless it's part of the procedures. You know, in case of space cooties. Shouldn't they all be tested and negative? I don't know, man. I don't know enough about that, Ansel. I'm not even going to bother weighing in. Oh, yeah. Look at this thing. Oh, dude. Orion has a, okay. All right. I see how this is set up. Oh, look at this. Heyo. So, configurable seats. See these? These seats, actually, those seats kind of look like they're shuttle derived a little bit. Yeah, so you can have 4. There's 2 seats on the side. It's kind of like Dragon. It's actually very similar. There's 4. And then the pilot and the commander are the 2 front seats, and then the other seats are kind of staggered back and down a little bit. Actually very similar to Dragon. This is from the side hatch looking in. That's the forward hatch. That's where the docking port is. And it looks like the entire control board is on a gimbal or something. Eclipse is over here. Environmental control. Stowage is right there. Dude, there's a lot of space in this capsule. Look at that. I mean, this is the outside of the there's a lot of space in that. That's a big capsule, dude. Yeah, Orion's cool. It's a cool capsule. They aren't showing the dashboard, but where's the head? Oh, let me see if we can find it. I'll bet you it's underneath this stuff if I had to guess. Either that or it's over there. On the shoulders. Why do seats look kind of uncomfortable? Spacesuit is comfortable. You don't need the seats to be comfortable when you're literally wearing a lazy boy. Yeah. The pumpkin suits. Anybody know why they're orange? They call them pumpkin suits because they're orange. Do people know why? You know why they're orange? Anyone? Spacesuits are padded to all heck, Velo. You gotta survive a rocket launch, man. Pad the suit. Visibility in the ocean. Yep. Rescue visibility. You guys got it. Yep. They're derived from these NASA, the NASA Aces or pumpkin suits are derived from, well, these ones are derived from the shuttle, and the shuttle ones are derived from the SR-71. So if you look at that helmet, you see the helmet? See how it kind of looks here? Look at SR-71 helmet. See? It's derived from the SR-71 helmet. It's because they have the BA option checked. Fair. Yep, that's where those suits are derived from. In fact, if we look at STS-1 now, if you look at STS-1 and you look at a picture of Bob Crippen and John Young, those are just SR-71 suits with NASA logos on them. Yep. When is Soyuz? In about less than an hour. And yep, the SR-71 suits are derived from the U-2 suits. That's correct. Yep. My guy is right there. So, yeah, it's pretty cool, man. It's a good suit. These are built by 2 contractors, 2 redundant suppliers. ILC Dover in Delaware and David C. Clark, or just David Clark, in Worcester, Massachusetts. Yeah, baby. First base news. I have it already. At least I thought I did. No, I don't. I X'd out of it by accident. Let's actually see what we got. So yeah, anyway, look at how roomy it is inside of Orion. Yep. 21 days. Totally self-sustaining for 21 days. They have enough oxygen to be by themselves for 21 days. That's pretty insane. That's more than the Apollo capsule. So yeah, this thing's really going to be a nice piece of equipment. We just got to get them flying, dude. Just got to get them flying. Should have gotten them flying a long time ago. Anyway, who's Jessica with? Hold on. That looks like Reed Wiseman, I think. Can't tell, though. That looks like a bunch of different astronauts there. Where's the toilet? I was trying to find it. It's probably stowable, like Dragon, so I'm not 100% sure. It looks like they got some tanks right there. That could be a water tank over there. I don't know. I don't know the inside of Orion too well. I know Dragon 2 better than I know Orion, but then again, I've stared more time at that. So right there, I know that this thing right here, that's environmental control and life support. That's the Eclipse right there. It's mounted where you can get at it real easy. I don't think I need to say why. And then there's vent ducting coming from over here on both sides. So that's the environmental control systems. If I had to guess, this is what I said before. I guess the toilet's probably underneath all this stuff. This is even more than enough for 21 days, almost like a small ISS module. It really, yeah, Kem, it's kind of like TKS. Really, I mean, Orion's a monster of a capsule. It's really good. People will see how good it is, you know, when the Artemis missions start flying. It's a good piece of equipment, man. It's made by Lockheed. Lockheed made it. Lockheed does not make junk, okay? They don't make junk, that's for sure. I'm trying to look around, see if there's anything else we can peep from this. Could they EVA outside of Orion? You can depress it if you need to, RJ. Yep. Who makes the F-35? Lockheed. Hey, Thomp, wait a minute. Everybody here says that the F-35 is overpriced. It's too expensive. But is it a bad aircraft? A Rolls-Royce is too expensive. Is it a bad car? I ain't hear anybody saying that the F-35 is a bad plane. Have you ever seen one of those things fly? It's not great at anything. Oh, okay. It's bad compared to the F-22. Who made that plane again? Dude, it's not air superiority like the F-22 though. That's fair, fellas, but also at the same time, Doom is right. The F-35 ain't about air superiority. You know why? Because the best battle is the battle you don't need to fight yourself. Dude, the F-35, you guys don't even know. The F-35 is not, it's designed to be good enough, it's designed to be stealth, etc., etc. But here's the thing. Okay, so I'm not trying to change your mind, but it's not an air superiority fighter, and it's not good at everything for a good reason, right? It's decent enough at regular plane rolls, right? Like bombing or dogfighting or vertical takeoff, amphibious assault. It's kind of good at everything, right? It's not really good at anything. What it lacks in plane performance, it makes up for in other things. So check this out. There's this drone program that the U.S. has called the XQ-58, okay? This thing. And now, maybe this will start to make sense. You guys are pretty much right. An F-22 with an experienced pilot will kick the trash out of an F-35 in a one-on-one fight. Operative word. These things, the Kratos, the Q-58. So X is experimental, Q is the airplane designation for a drone, and so it's experimental drone 58A, right? This thing it's autonomous. It doesn't nobody's on board. It's unmanned, and it's basically a smaller F-35. But here's the thing, okay? One F-35 can control 20 of those Kratos drones. 20 of them. That's what I mean about the F-35. The F-35 is not particularly good at dogfighting. It's not particularly good at ground support. It's not particularly good at air support, blah, 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 because it's not supposed to be. All right? Just like if you have a battleship and an aircraft carrier dueling at close range, who's going to win? Because the aircraft carrier can't go toe-to-toe and firing at a battleship, right? It has a Sea Whiz and a Sea Sparrow. That's not going to do anything to a battleship. The battleship will have a 16-inch gun at close range. You just pop the carrier in half, right? But you got to remember, is a battleship even going to get close to an aircraft carrier on the modern battlefield? Not a chance in hell. No way. A submarine will sink that before it even gets close. That's the idea with the F-35. It works like an aircraft carrier because it slaves to all these drones. So, any Protoss players here from StarCraft? Protoss carriers? Literally that. Literally that. The F-35 doesn't have to fight. It can if it needs to, but it doesn't have to. It'll just swarm whatever plane comes near it with drones. And I don't care what anybody says. 20 of those Kratos drones coming at you, all firing missiles, there's not any pilot in the world that'd be able to get around that. And the reason why I know this, and once again, this isn't some secret project. The reason why I know that this works this way is because guess how they communicate with each other? Starlink. Yep. Some scary stuff, dude. Do the drones have drones? No. Starlink, not Starship, Cletus, but yeah. The F-35, once again, I'm not going to try to change your mind, but let me tell you, there's a reason why the F-35 is so expensive. Because it can do things that no other plane can do. It is a hell of a piece of equipment. Have you guys seen the helmet for that damn thing? Dude, it is... The helmet looks like something out of Ace Combat. Peep this, dudes. I still love that the B-1B plan to use it as a backline missile carrier. Yep, yep. But you could deploy 20 XQ-58s from a suborbital starship anywhere on Earth. Yeah. So, oh, that's cool. I'll check that out, Chris. I know my stuff on military stuff. What EJ is to rockets, I am to planes. F-35s are something you do not want to be on the receiving end on. There's no plane on Earth that'll even come near that plane's capability. Sure, something might beat it in a one-on-one dogfight, but like an aircraft carrier, are you ever going to get near one? No. Not a chance. There's no way. Those things are scary. It's scary what it can do. Like, honestly, I'm like, that's like one of those things where you're like, oh, okay. F-35s are literally Protoss carriers. They will Protoss carrier something. Because, once again, nobody's fighting their way out of a dogfight with 20 of those drones. Not a chance. Yeah, exactly. If an F-35 gets into a dogfight, something went wrong. I mean, the F-22 is a thing. Yeah, once again, the F-22 with an equally experienced pilot would probably beat an F-35 pilot one-on-one. But the F-22 ain't going to get near the F-35. It'll get swarmed with drones before it can... Actually, it would be a pretty even fight, now that I'm thinking about it. Because how the F-22 solves that same problem is an advanced long-range missile. Yeah. The F-22 will just fire and it'll fly away, and when you try to find it, you'll just get creamed out with a missile, like, right away. Are dogfights even a thing anymore since World War II? Sure. Yeah, Jonas? There were dogfights that happened after World War II, absolutely. In the Korean War, sure. Guys with P-51s were going up against MiG-15s. Yeah, there were dogfights between propeller planes and jet planes. There were dogfights all the way into Desert Storm. Israel in 1967 had a dogfight. They had a couple of dogfights with the Jordanians, if I'm remembering correctly. And the Egyptians, too. Yeah, dogfights have happened all the way up until Desert Storm, believe it or not. Yeah. Vietnam, absolutely. There were guys with A-1 Sky Raiders that were shooting down MiG-21s. It was actually really funny. The MiG-21 couldn't get near the A-1 Sky Raider, which was a propeller plane, right? It was a ground attack plane, like an A-10. It goes slow, and it's designed to attack targets. There were a couple stories of an A-1 Sky Raider getting into a fight with a MiG, and the MiG is an interceptor. It's designed to go fast, so if you take the MiG and you try to slow it down to catch up with the A-1, you're going to stall the plane, and the plane isn't going to be maneuverable, and some American pilots shot down MiG-21s. Simultaneously, Jonas, at the same time during Vietnam, some guys with F-4 Phantoms went up against MiG-17s. MiG-17s have a 27 and a 30 millimeter cannon on them, and they're a Korean War 1950s fighter. And the F-4 Phantom at the time was the state-of-the-art, cutting-edge, next-generation fighter, and they didn't give it a damn machine gun because they thought it didn't need it. It could just shoot down people with missiles. And then the F-4 got shot down by MiG-17s that were operated by a bunch of Viet Cong farmers and NVA farmers. Yeah, because it didn't have a machine gun. Oops. First of all, a dogfight between a MiG-21 and an F-4 Phantom is like watching, it would be like watching sumo wrestlers run a 100-meter dash. It's just not, that's not how that works. Both of those planes are designed to go fast, and that's about it. So the dogfights were just, it's just, you kept fighting with each other until somebody slowed down too much and stalled and crashed. Shot down by Russians flying MiG-17s. Yeah, they were in an advisory role, Hellfish. An advisory role. Just like we were in an advisory role in the mid-'80s in Afghanistan. It's an advisory role. That'll be fine. Never ends well. Yep. Actually, Kem, we learned the hard way from the F-4 Phantom. Every single U.S. fighter plane since the Phantom has a 20mm cannon on it. Yeah. Every single one of them. Because we ain't making that same mistake again. Even the F-35. Did any F-14s get into dogfights? Yes. In the 80s, an F-14 got into a scruff with a MiG-23 from Libya. That's what Top Gun is based off of. Yeah. That plane that inspired Top Gun is at the Udvar-Hazy Museum. Nice hat. Thank you, Spoon. Those farmers had strange accents. Yeah. That's right, Admana. Mm-hmm. Harriers are good in dogfights. Harriers are just good in general, Lego. They broke the mold. BAE broke the mold with that design. It's so damn smart, dude. That's British ingenuity to its finest, man. Seriously. It's genius. Harriers can hover with one engine. Harriers can hover with one engine that's horizontal. One engine. Harriers also have reaction control systems. Yeah. Harriers have RCS that work off of a tap-off from said engine. Yeah. Harrier or the F-35? F-35. Yep. The Harrier has... yeah, Kyron, technically cold gas. Yeah. Mm-hmm. How many F-14s do the Iranians have? It's probably not much. They probably have a lot of USA, but how many of them are airworthy? It's not like they can go find spare parts on Craigslist or something, you know? Harrier than what? You mother. Got him. Yeah, that's right, Knight. Harrier's not good. There's one too many O's in there. It's really a beautiful design. That's why we use it. No military aircraft is perfect. As soon as you think you're superior to your competition, you lose. Never underestimate your enemy, Dave. Yeah. Overconfidence loses wars. Badly. I can think of several examples. Although not really meant to dogfight. The Harrier isn't built for that, Lego. You're asking a pickup truck to go drag... Well, not a pickup truck. You're asking a semi-truck to go drag racing. Planes have specific applications for a reason. Pokes, Rule 8. I can think of several examples where underestimating your... Yeah, I mean, in the 20th century, we can think of several examples of underestimating your enemy. Napoleon. There you go. It's not that, guys. It's not just the 20th century. A lot of wars ended up this way. I had a Harrier come down nose hard when I was stationed at Kadenia and caused a massive hazmat incident. Oof. Yeah. Been doing lots of naval research lately, trying to get smart for upcoming naval actions. Cool. Right on, dude. That's neat. They're moving the service structure away on Roscosmos TV. Cool. The Emu War is the best example. I agree. If we want to go to ancient history, Thermopylae, anyone? Who knows their Who knows their ancient history? Thermopylae. That was kind of underestimating your enemy. That didn't work. That didn't work for the Persians very well. I think they made a movie about that one time. What's that movie called? Oh yeah, 300. Yeah, that's a true story, by the way. Yep. Yeah, it's happened. The Germans underestimated the Soviets in World War II. They kind of did, but they kind of didn't, RJ. They knew that so something that we don't learn about as Americans is that the Germans in World War II and the Soviets in World War II signed a non-aggression pact, all right? The ambassador to the Soviet Union from Germany, von Ribbentrop, it's named after him. They signed a non-aggression pact, and they literally both invaded Poland. Now, after that, Stalin didn't trust nobody. He didn't trust nobody. I don't blame him. He didn't trust nobody. And you can be sure that Mustache Man, well, I think it's safe to say that he didn't like people that were east of what would be the Iron Curtain later. He was pretty vocal about that. It's kind of a dick. He's pretty vocal about that. They actually got into an arms race. And the Germans found out that we were supplying the Soviet Union under Lend-Lease. Dude, we sent everyone over there to industrialize the crap out of the Soviet Union. Henry Ford was over there. Who else? There were people from Chevy. There were people from Curtiss. Curtiss Aircraft went over there. Douglas. Dude, we taught them how to build taught them how to build the airplanes so they could defend themselves if and when they were going to get invaded, and that's exactly what happened. Yeah, Henry Ford went over there and he set up a Ford factory in the Soviet Union. It became GAZ. Gaz. I think it was Gaz. But he wanted to bring them up to speed so they could defend themselves, and that's exactly what happened. So they didn't really underestimate, dude. I mean, it's just they got outproduced. Sucks to suck. Yeah, Admana. Yeah, facts. Straight facts. It was Lend-Lease. You got them back? No, not really, Lego. I mean, we didn't get our Lend-Lease back from you either. Or France. Or West Germany. Nope. Have you heard about the Battle of Saragahi, where 21 soldiers fought against 10,000 Pashtun Afghan soldiers? No, I haven't. Yoda. Interesting. It was Gaz. Good memory. Right on. Now, don't get me wrong. That von Ribbentrop Pact it was a non-aggression pact in 1941. That was well after we started Lend-Leasing the Soviet Union. But the Germans recognized that they wouldn't be able to match the Soviet Union's production capability eventually. That's why they jumped the gun in 42? Well, they didn't really jump the gun. They didn't have a choice. I mean, you could just not invade people. I'm just putting it out there. Viable alternative, but I mean, those guys weren't the brightest people around, were they? In 1941 and 42, they were expecting victory twice. That's before the industry kicked in like 43. Yeah, I mean, Kem, they were trying to get you before you got up to speed. It didn't work. it didn't work. Yeah. It didn't work. Nice. Now that's just crazy talk. Yeah, right. The American Navy recently underestimated Swedish stealth submarines. Luckily, it wasn't a real war. Yeah, everybody talks about that war games thing, Cerebral. You know, oh, the Swedes took out an aircraft carrier. Americans are so stupid, right? Yeah, they failed to mention the fact that in that war game scenario, that submarine was the only submarine left from their navy. Yeah. Yeah, that was the only one left. We killed every single one of them. And then probably leveled the entire country in the war game. Yeah. Okay, you sank one. You know there's 12 others, right? Okay. Have fun with that. But we still beat you. Sure. All right. Congratulations. You sank one carrier. Good job. Your country is now gone. I'm just saying, dude. Production wins. If you can outproduce your enemy, and just saying, like, I'm not trying to talk anything bad about the Swedes. It's just, all right. Okay, great. That sucks. We lost the carrier. Oh well. Like, they don't tell that part, and I don't know why they don't tell that part. But fun fact: we lend lease Shermans. we lend leased Shermans from you. Added a 17-pounder, then lend leased it back to the U.S. Yeah, that's the Lego. That's the most British thing I've ever heard. That's like, yeah, that's a very British thing to do. It's a very. Yeah, that's right. No, Mr. Bond. I mean, okay, he took out one carrier. Like, good. Your country is now non-existent. I mean, look, you can say a lot of things about how we fight over here, but in a conventional war, you ain't gonna win. But that's why people don't fight conventional wars anymore. It's deterrence. So they find other ways, you know? What fighters do the British use? F-35, RJ. They use the F-35 for carrier operations. I believe it's an F-35C. Brits, help me out. It's an F-35C, and they built a new aircraft carrier for them, too. And it's a big aircraft carrier. Very big. The biggest one since World War II, if I'm remembering right. It's a B. It's the B variant. Oh, yeah, you guys got that ramp thing going on. Yeah, those ramped carriers. Yeah, those what are they? Is it Queen Elizabeth, right? They're big. They're big aircraft carriers. Queen Elizabeth and the Prince of Wales. Good names. Good names. So they have that, and then they have the Eurofighter, and I think that they use the Panavia Tornado as well, if I'm remembering right. Here, hold on. Let me check. See, this is always cool stuff. You can go on Wikipedia. You can figure this stuff out real easy. Let's see. So what do they have? Yes. This, see, if you fly around one of these, you have your pinky out when you sip your tea. Oh, yes. What's the deal with the aircraft carrier meta? Bring back big battleships. Well, if the railguns had gone through, you may have seen that. A Lank. They don't use that anymore. There's a Victor. There's a Shackleton. That's a cool plane. The Volk. Yeah, see? Eurofighters. They use the Eurofighter, and then these are the trainers. The red arrows use those trainers. I've seen those planes fly around. Really cool. Let's see. You can go down here, and you can see... Hey. Oh, I hate it when the SVG doesn't work. Anyway, let's see. Hey. Hello. I like what's going on in here. List of aircraft of the RAF. Regular service. Service. Civil. Mill. That's okay. Can you just give me the modern list, or... You know what? It's over here. So... Yep, the Brits use the Chinook, because the Chinook is crazy. And then... Okay, they use UH-1Ys. That's cool. The Puma. What in Sam Hill's a Puma? Yeah, the Juno. Okay. Okay, Jupiter. Yeah. So they use E3s. So the E3D is a converted 707 for airborne warning and control systems. It's the plane with the big flying saucer on the top. It's a radar. It's basically a flying air traffic control tower. So P8, that's a 737 that's designed for anti-submarine reconnaissance or just maritime reconnaissance. Okay, they use Reaps. There's the Hawk, Texan. Typhoon, Trainers, Embraer, Phenom. Cool. All right. What else? An A330, the A400, BAE 146, C-17s. You guys call the C-130 the C4 and the C5. Interesting. Yeah, see. They got the Eurofighter and the F-35. Not a bad couple of planes there. Yeah. I don't see any Tornadoes here. Well, maybe multi-roll. Hold on. Nope. That's a multi-roll helicopter, idiot. Can we just... You know what's better than having one Rolls-Royce Merlin engine? Having 4. Duh. Their Tornadoes left service a few years ago. Yeah. That's one of the strangest looking planes of all time. But they've in the 50s and the 60s they were figuring out what area rule was. That's why the Victor has a chin right there. Area rule. Yeah, that's kind of important. Long story short, aerodynamics when you're skirting transonic. Yeah, Whitcomb's area rule. It's an yeah, read about it. It's cool. And it was useless too. Was gonna drop the big ones, but you had to do that. I mean, is anyone gonna sit here and say that the U.S. isn't good at blowing things up? Like, let's be real here for a second. Like, pretty damn good at it, man. Now, I wish we would just be better at space instead. That would be kind of cool, but the F-35 replaced the Tornadoes? Yeah. Yeah. Actually, it's funny because there's a Russian plane where Andrei Tupolev had to figure out the same damn problem. If you look at early versions of the Tu-22, freaking booze carrier right here. I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and say that the Tupolev 22 is one of the coolest looking planes ever designed. But this is a really good lesson. Just because it looks like it goes fast doesn't mean it goes fast. Yeah. Yeah. It's a sweet looking plane, but the Russians didn't call it the Man-Eater for no reason. Flying booze carrier. Yeah, they, I was watching a video on this on YouTube the other day, and I didn't know this. The Tu-22 had one of the best air conditioning systems in the Soviet Union out of any fighter plane, and that's why pilots wanted to fly it. It had a great air conditioner. With an air conditioning system, you need some type of substance that's good at absorbing and shutting off heat real quick. I'll give you 3 guesses what they used for the air conditioner on the plane. An alcohol-water mixture. Quite literally vodka. Yep. And then when the pilots were finished flying, they didn't call it the booze carrier for no reason. No, actually, you know what's funny? The pilots used it to get thrashed, and then the reservoir, the tank that was carrying around literally vodka, and it was so big that they used it for they sold it off for favors. Oxygenated vodka. Yeah, it's pretty. Yep, booze carrier. Also one of the coolest planes ever. But going back to area rule, the later versions of the 22 have a big. Yep. Yeah. Later versions. Yeah, see that? They put a little bubble on the front. It is a cool looking plane, though. That is one of the coolest looking planes I think I've ever seen. It's right up there with like a B-47. B-47s are cool looking, man. Hey, you gotta safe the fuel tank. You gotta safe it after when the plane's not being used, obviously. It looks like a B-1 in a way. It's a cool looking plane. Tupolev figured it out, dude. Andrei Tupolev is not known for making bad planes. It's just, this was one of those, I need you to make it and I need you to make it fast. Because arms race. And, yeah, they really didn't finish it. Yeah, it had a lot of, there's a lot of things that they needed to figure out when they wanted to make a supersonic bomber. Like area rule. Don't get me wrong, we did that too. We had to figure that one out. But Tupolev had it figured out by the time he engineered one of the freaking nicest planes ever, which is... No, not that one. No, not that one. No, that one's... not that one. I'm talking about the, Where are you? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, look, also, area rule. Now, Rocket, the 160 is that's a good plane. But that's also a good plane. Is it de Havilland Comet cool? They had a plane that was similar to a checkered. The EEL. EEL is cool, Geeson, yeah. Check Discord if you get a chance. It's plane related. You're plane related. Hey, KC-135 and a T-38. Very nice. The BBC Russia. That's not what that says at all. VVS Ruski. If we're checking on planes, check the S-70. Don't mind if I do. Is it a Tupolev plane? The Tu-16, actually. Just on a side note. The Tu-16 was a good plane. Good subsonic bomber. It kind of looks like a Comet. And then they made the Tu-104 based off of that. The 104 is a passenger version of that. Also, like you could say, it might not have been the nicest performing plane, but Tu-104s are very aesthetic. The Sukhoi S-70 Okhotnik, okay? That, I mean, come on. That's as aesthetic as the Comet is. It's a nice looking plane. I mean, I'm not too big of a fan of that part right there, but that's very sketty. Very sketty. Live coverage starting on the Roscosmos webcast. Cool. All right. Let's see what we got. What are you guys cooking up? The Sukhoi S-70 Okhotnik B. All right. Hunter B is a Russian stealth unmanned combat. Hey, what are you guys up to? Look at this thing. Yep. It's got Sukhoi engines on it. Yep. Oh, there's that new one. I forget the name of it, dude. That they showed it off at MKS. Yeah, that's definitely a Sukhoi engine. Yeah, the Su-57. There you go. Hey, look at this. Look at this guy. Yeah. Can we talk about the new Soyuz they're making? Why are they changing it? They're not making... are you talking about the Soyuz 5? Russians really love their chonky wheels. Not all airstrips in Russia are concrete, Ark. And even the ones that are concrete are bumpy, dude. Okay, once again, different strategy, different doctrine. They look weird. It looks weird to us in the West, right? But you gotta remember, they have a lot of land to cover. And if you need to make an airfield somewhere, that takes time. And you don't have time when you're fighting, right? Planes are designed to land on unprepared surfaces. A lot of Russian planes are made that way. A lot of Russian planes are made that way. The roads in Russia are not considered roads in the West. Yeah, that's what I mean. All their planes are designed to land on unprepared surfaces. So are ours. A lot of our planes are. The C-17, C-130. Yeah, I mean, we figured out the other day that an A-10 can land on an unprepared surface. That's no problem, because we saw one take off from a Michigan road. Michiganders, unprepared surface, Michigan road. See what I did? The Soyuz webcast has an awesome segment. All right, cool. So here, while we're on the subject, check this out. Oleg Novitsky, who's up at the inside of the Nauka capsule right now, or the Nauka module, showed off the new window on the ISS right there. And then what's this one coming from Chris G? The ESA and Roscosmos are readying components on the ExoMars 2022 mission. Heck yeah. And then there's a PDF here on SpaceX's upgraded Starlink satellites. I think I'll save that one for next week. SpaceX basically just got approval to put out like 30,000 Starlink satellites. It's something ridiculous. And now that you guys know that there's some defense money behind it, it makes a little bit more sense why SpaceX was able to just get Starlink up and running, no problem. That's why A-10s have the engine above the wing. Correct. I live in Michigan. I see those A-10s fly over constantly. Right on, Cal. Yeah, they were up near Traverse City, taking off on country roads out there. Strange. Anyway, I'm going to load up the Roscosmos webcast here, and we're going to watch ourselves a rocket launch, and then we're going to go play Kerbal.
По закону мы просто обязаны выставить
Dimitri's talking.
претензии РКЦ «Прогресс». Хотя все прекрасно понимают, что в данном конкретном случае это не вина самарского «Прогресса», а это обстановка, в которой, в принципе, страна оказалась. Здесь вопрос не к нам, не к Министерству обороны, не тем более к РКЦ «Прогресс». Это надо менять, видимо, законы или какие-то вносить изменения в нормативную базу, которые бы учли то, что мы все работаем в условиях санкций. И некоторые сбои в работе, они носят вынужденный характер. Это нам просто нечем заменить то, что нам недопоставляют. Нам требуется дополнительное время, чтобы провести программу импортозамещения. Но, тем не менее, вот эти иски... Это не
What are they launching into space? Yeah, I'm going to shut Dmitry for a second. He's the guy that runs Roscosmos. He runs the Russian space program. So he's like their administrator for their program. CEO is the right name. But, so... You're looking at a shot up here of the Baikonur Cosmodrome. Baikonur is in Kazakhstan. It's one of the Russians' big launch sites. Baikonur is the first space center that launched a person into space. For people, I mean, Yuri Gagarin launched from Baikonur. Not on that pad though. That's not Gagarin's start. There's two Soyuz launch complexes at Baikonur. But that's a live shot. This is a Soyuz 21B, or yeah, Soyuz 21B rocket. I'll explain more about Soyuz 5 in a second. The 21B rocket is launching 36 OneWeb satellites. So this is another internet satellite constellation, a competitor to Starlink.
Пунктом рабочей поездки генерального директора Роскосмоса Дмитрия Рогозина стал Красноярский машиностроительный завод, входящий в госкорпорацию Роскосмос. Дмитрий Рогозин проинспектировал выполнение государственного оборонного заказа, посетил площадку Красмаша в поселке Подгорном, это производство испытательно-заправочный комплекс, и вручил красмашевцам ведомственные награды за большой личный вклад в реализацию космических программ и многолетний и добросовестный труд. Нынешний запуск аппаратов OneWeb с Байконура третий по счету, производимый со стартовой площадки первого космодрома планеты. Старт намечен на 1 час 13 минут по времени Москвы. Вывоз из монтажно-испытательного корпуса ракеты-носителя «Союз-2.1Б» с разгонным блоком «Фрегат» и партией из 34 космических аппаратов OneWeb состоялся 16 августа. Ракета космического назначения была установлена на стартовой площадке номер 31 космодрома Байконур. Давайте смотреть, как происходила эта операция.
Let's go. He said, let's go down to... Let's learn more about it or something. I heard давай.
По местному времени. На космодроме так заведено уже годами. Традиция. Процесс отлажен и точен, как часы. От монтажно-испытательного корпуса до стартового стола 2,5 километра. Чтобы ракета не деформировалась, ее везут максимально медленно, со скоростью идущего человека. 5 километров.
The rocket's going to travel by train a couple kilometers to the launch pad.
Поддерживать необходимый для ракеты тепловой режим. Система расположена в специальном вагоне и подключена к космической головной части ракеты. Носителю предстоит вывести в космос 34 спутника связи. Когда это произойдет,
Night
численность
launch.
группировки на орбите Земли достигнет 288
Walking at a walking
космических
pace.
аппаратов. По программе OneWeb это будет уже 9-й запуск, а с космодрома Байконур – 3-й. Уже на стартовом столе ракету специальным устройством вертикализируют. Каждый раз ее поднимают в тот момент, когда Солнце находится ровно позади. Еще одна традиция. Красивая.
So those hoses that they were releasing from the fairing is the HVAC systems. Well, the rocket's offline.
Назначение с пилотируемым космическим аппаратом занимает 2 дня. В данном же случае
Спасибо, Sims.
ракет космического назначения с космическим аппаратом OneWeb с разгонным блоком фрегат занимает 4 дня. Это обусловлено тем, что на подготовку того самого разгонного блока фрегат уходит больше времени. На обработку телеметрии.
That's cool.
После вертикализации ракеты в работу вступают сотни специалистов.
Once
Все время до старта они подготавливают ракету-носитель к запуску, подстыковывают коммуникации, проводят испытания, выполняют...
Once the rocket is vertical, crews will start working on preparing it for launch. Did I hear that right?
Информация от
Guys, tell
ракет-носителей
me.
и разгонного блока фрегат через измерительные пункты поступает в ЦУП.
Сейчас мы находимся на измерительном пункте номер 5. Все наши измерительные пункты находятся на космодроме Байконур. Мы принимаем информацию от ракет-носителей и разгонных блоков. В момент подготовки к старту надежность наших систем 100%. Телеметрическая информация дублируется с разных измерительных пунктов. После обработки телеметрической информации
She's talking about how the ground stations will link with the rocket.
Ракета готова к пуску. Скоро специалисты займут свои места в специальном бункере, откуда ведется управление полетными работами. Ну, а до команды «Ключ на старт» осталось совсем немного.
Once the RSS has come back, the rocket's ready to go, more or less. Trying to get better at this, guys. It's tough.
Роскосмос ТВ в прямом эфире. Программа запусков российскими ракетами британских спутников связи. Пример эффективной кооперации ведущих отечественных предприятий ракетно-космической отрасли. Ну, действительно. Ракета-носитель «Союз-2» — это РКЦ «Прогресс». Об этом мы уже говорили. Разгонные блоки «Фрегат», НПО имени Лавочкина. Плазменные двигатели ОКБ.
They showed it last time, that's why you understand so much.
Пусковые расчеты.
Hey, shut up!
Наземной космической
How do you say shut the heck up?
Ну и, конечно, компания «Главкосмос», оператор внешнеэкономической
No, I'm actually trying to listen for what it's worth. I'm trying to listen, but I have seen this
аппаратов OneWeb. С нами на прямой связи генеральный директор компании «Главкосмос» Дмитрий Лоскутов. Дмитрий Владимирович, приветствую вас. Спасибо, что в ночное время находите время с нами пообщаться. Ситуация с переносом старта с Байконура, в общем-то, не является чем-то экстраординарным. В любом случае, трудно с этим не согласиться. Лучше обнаруженная до старта неисправность. И хотелось бы, в общем-то, услышать ваш экспертный, профессиональный комментарий. Вам слово.
Yeah, there are Americans. There's an American up there at the station right now, Kuro, that launched on a Soyuz. Mark Van Hee.
Говорят наши партнеры, кивадусман васюрман, да, или тише едешь, дальше будешь. Вот в данном случае как раз по просьбе иностранного заказчика был перенесен запуск на резервную дату. Еще на одну резервную дату, их несколько. И, безусловно, на каждую внештатную ситуацию есть абсолютно штатные инструкции. Поэтому расчеты работают с холодной головой, они всегда готовы ко всему, и в данном случае и с нашей части, когда были некие погрехи в наземке, они были очень оперативно выявлены. Ну а сегодня наши партнеры уверили нас, что также они там на себя внесли некие изменения.
It seems like a small payload. There's 34 Zubasky.
Группировку космических аппаратов. И мы, надеюсь, готовы сегодня стартовать.
Ну, то есть эта ситуация еще раз подтвердила надежность сотрудничества и Роскосмоса, надежность Роскосмоса как партнера.
This guy is the director of Glevcosmos. Glevcosmos is the company that makes the Soyuz. They're a subsidiary of Roscosmos. So, yeah, that's the guy that's in charge of building all the Soyuz rockets.
Во всех временных зонах, и с учетом того, что ракета-носитель на старте с разгонным блоком фрегата, как было доложено уже, и ракета, и космические аппараты чувствуют себя вполне хорошо.
The frigate upper stage is at the top of the rocket, inside the fairing, and will deliver the satellites to their orbits, something like that.
Роскосмоса в целом представляются вам наиболее перспективными и интересными. Ну, сегодня мы не можем об этом тоже не поговорить.
Безусловно, Главкосмос, как оператор внешнеэкономической деятельности, действует по поручениям Роскосмоса. И, в частности, одним из перспективных проектов и проектов, доказавших свою эффективность, является программа «Союз» в Гвианском космическом центре. Мы рассчитываем, что она так или иначе будет продолжена, и сейчас наши специалисты совместно с космическими агентствами, с Европейским космическим агентством, специалисты Роскосмоса ведут интенсивный диалог на эту тему. Также для Главкосмоса...
Draco, you're telling me the guy that runs a rocket company is talking about rockets? I mean, I'll tell you, that's the secret. That's how I know what they're talking about. I'm listening for the names of the rockets and the different pieces of equipment, because I know all the names. Fregat, Soyuz 2-1, or, well, they say Soyuz, yeah, Soyuz 2-1B. But they don't say 2-1. I don't know how to say 2 and 1 in Russian. Have you studied Russian, or is this the knowledge of watching too many Soyuz launches? I get little bits and pieces over time, Ivan, just like Spanish. Dva, you're welcome. Dva dni. PY? Oh yeah, the H is in it. Dude, I'm freaking... See, that's my problem with reading Russian, dude. Whenever I read Russian, my brain defaults to English letters. I'll, like, be halfway through and I'll get half of the word, and then the rest will be in English, and the pronunciation will be horrible. Odin is one? Odin, like the Norse god?
Испытанием на 10-12 дней МКС, поэтому, безусловно, у нас здесь есть ряд конкурентных преимуществ.
Дмитрий Владимирович, спасибо, всем нам успехов, вам отдельное спасибо за интервью содержательное в ночное время. Дмитрий Лоскутов, глава Главкосмоса, о перспективах нашей космонавтики на мировом рынке.
Dmitry Lodskutov of Glavkosmos. Yeah, I gotcha. See, I understood that because I understood what, like once again, I'm listening for bits and pieces. If someone is speaking Russian about space stuff, I'll understand. Anything else, not really. I'm trying to get there though. I'm trying to get better, man.
Трансляцию пуска ракеты-носителя «Союз-2-1Б» с разгонным блоком «Фрегат», которые должны вывести на орбиту аппараты OneWeb. Пуск по техническим причинам переносился на резервные даты. Такое случается и в европейской, и в американской космонавтике. Об этом мы поговорим сегодня с нашим гостем, с нашим экспертом, уважаемый известный в медиа человек Игорь Маринин, первый заместитель главного редактора журнала «Русский космос», человек, который был свидетелем более чем 70 космических пусков. Игорь, спасибо, что пришли. Приветствую. Доброй ночи. Главные причины переносов пусков по техническим, простите за повтор, причинам. Какие бывают нештатные ситуации? Понятно, что сложнейшая техника, но тем не менее автоматика, она дает команду и принимается решение.
Причин переноса запуска может быть очень много. Начиная от сбоев в наземной инфраструктуре, которая обеспечивает ракету и готовит ее к запуску, из-за сбоев систем самой ракеты-носителя, а также сейчас имеется возможность контролировать и состояние космических аппаратов, которые находятся уже под обтекателем.
Сказать мы можем...
И тоже, если там какие-то возникают проблемы, то телеметрия передает на Землю. Поэтому причин может быть очень много. И в зависимости от...
Hold on one second. Is the new Roscosmos headquarters in Moscow supposed to look like a Soyuz? It has the Soyuz interstage on it. The building has a Soyuz interstage on it. I like it. That's cool. Yeah, that's pretty legit. That's very
тоже
aesthetic.
На разных стадиях. Вот как у нас позавчера, например, было за 40 секунд,
да, кстати,
а бывает, когда и двигатели уже запускаются, и их приходится выключать, и тогда ракету возвращают на старт и откладывают на более долгий срок. А сейчас обошлись вот на сутки переносом.
Ну, мы сегодня с этого начинали прямой эфир, видимо, стоит еще раз напомнить, что, собственно говоря, резервные даты и перенос пусков на резервные даты — совершенно нормальная практика для космонавтики любой страны. Прекрасно, что сработала автоматика до старта, что дало возможность, собственно, нормализовать ситуацию и обеспечить пуск, который вот собственно, должен совсем скоро произойти.
Это большой плюс ракеты типа «Союз-2». Это наша современная ракета, и она обладает очень большими возможностями по контролю своих систем. А по откладыванию стартов, по переносу стартов, можно вспомнить американский шаттл, который больше 130 полетов совершил, и я, честно говоря, не помню, что он улетел, стартовал в заранее назначенный день и время. То есть практически всегда там были отсрочки от нескольких часов до суток, недели, даже месяцев.
Кстати, наши ракеты ведь летают практически в любую погоду. Два слова о том, почему, кстати, они вот могут летать практически в любую погоду, и будем провожать ракету уже, так сказать,
ну, во-первых, потому что Байконур выбирали...
You said Buran's better than the shuttle? Oh, I mean, geez. For a guy that's working on the rocket guidance systems, man, that's an awful lot of things to be wrong about. Hopefully you didn't install an IMU upside down, you jerk.
С европейским куром.
Отлично. Игорь, давайте, собственно, смотреть и наблюдать за стартом. Он произойдет вот буквально в считанные минуты, если не секунды.
About 1 minute and 10, what do you say, 10 seconds? All right. Picking up the live count. So, Soyuz has 2 umbilicals on it and 4 hold down points. The hold down points are that truss structure that you see kind of near the bottom of the rocket. At T-minus 30 seconds, one of the upper or the third stage umbilical will retract, and at T-minus 15, the second stage umbilical will retract. And then see, there's the 2 umbilicals. One is right here, the other one's on top of it. One of them is an A-frame and one of them is a singular. They actually move in and out of each other. So, okay. There you go. Third stage and payload umbilical disconnect. Now T-minus 15, you should see the second stage umbilical disconnect. This is where they scrubbed the other day. And now the Russians like lighting it. They light the engines at T-minus 0, and then they release the rocket at T+6. All right. Here we go. Here we go. We have ignition. And liftoff. There she goes. Oh yeah. Okay, Vernier engine's doing the roll program right there. It's OneWeb satellites, Lego, so yeah, partially. Did you guys see the Vernier engines? Those little rockets on the outside are the ones that steer. That's what steer the rocket. The main engines on each one of the rockets, I mean it's all one engine, but are fixed. And then those little guys on the outside, those are the ones that steer it. And it's gone. When's the next one? Okay, 45 into the flight. Let's listen. Just gonna move myself a little bit over here. Dang, he ain't gonna be rush hour 3. Okay, so we should see first stage separation in about 1 minute. There's OneWeb satellites, there's 34. It's the gas generator, human. RD-107s are on the outside, on the third stage boosters, and then in the center core stage, the Russians call that the second stage, you have an RD-108. The difference between a 107 and a 108 is how many Vernier engines you have. The RD-107s have 2, and the RD-108 has 4. Because when the boosters separate, right, you need 4 Vernier engines for yaw, pitch, and roll. Okay, so this is an animation view, but these numbers, I'm not sure if this is actual telemetry, but it's close enough. There we go. Third stage separation. Core left cross initiated. That is a MIL helicopter flying by the microphone. So, Cool thing about Soyuz here is, if you notice, I said the building looks like a Soyuz, right? So if you look, from here back is the second stage, and then from here forward is the third stage. There's actually a fourth stage riding inside of the payload fairing with the satellites attached to it. If you notice between the second and the third stage, there's an open area. The inner stage is hollow. The reason is because that Soyuz uses a method called hot staging. If you watch the animation here, what's going to happen is right before this thing separates, they'll fire the third stage engine, and the third stage engine will fire while the second stage engine is still firing. It's called hot staging. The idea is that the rocket stays under constant acceleration during a staging event. They don't just separate it and then just let the stage sit there for a second and then light the engines. The reason why they do that hot staging is for a phenomenon called tank ullage. All right? Ullage is a weird word to say, and it's kind of fun to say. Ullage. No. All right. Basically, when you're up in space like this, if you shut those engines off, you're going to start falling. And when you're falling, you're in a microgravity environment. Rockets, in order to feed the rocket engine liquid fuel, they need the propellants at the bottom of the tank. So it pays to have the rocket still under acceleration the entire time. That's why they hot stage it. So the propellants from the third stage stay at the bottom of the rocket even when they separate the core stage right there. That's why there's an open area right there. And then if you look, this orange... The orange ring right there is what's called, that's an aft skirt on the third stage. They'll separate, it's not for another minute or so. They'll separate this thing, and it'll hot stage, they'll separate, and then the orange ring splits into 3 sections and shoots off. The orange ring is only there as a structural aft skirt for the third stage. So basically, they only need the bottom of the inner stage to be hollow. So like a third of it is hollow, and then a third of it is solid. Solid, not like a solid booster, but it's solid metal, like you can't see through it. Close up of the new hot stage design. Yo, that's get it as hell, dude. Look at that thing. See, they made the building look like it. That's not an accident. That's legit, dude. I like it. Their building has a cut in it that looks like the Soyuz inner stage. There we go. There's the hot stage right there. I'll back us up just a second. See, there's the hot staging. And popped it off. Triple interstage separation. Fairing separation confirmed. There we go. Let me fast forward us a little bit. So the third stage is going to burn pretty much all the way up into orbit. It's going to get probably about 98% of the way there. It'll get about 98% of the way there, and then they'll jettison it, and then they'll pop the tank vent, and the tank's venting and depressurizing, which safes the third stage, will actually deorbit it. It'll burn up in the atmosphere. Yeah, there you go, Lego. What's the point of the triple interstage thing? You don't want the ring to slide into the rocket exhaust, so that you want to jettison radial. How do you jettison radial? And triangulating stuff like that using 3 panels that form a cylinder is pretty strong structurally. The building is part of the new Space Center complex near Krunichev. Yeah, the building is aesthetic as heck, dude. It's very, very aesthetic. It looks like a Soyuz. It looks like the interstage on a Soyuz. I think that's really cool. That ain't an accident, man. It's very, very, very aesthetic. So picture, like, how cool it would be if NASA had a building that looked like a Saturn V, you know? Like, that'd be pretty cool. And they want to put a Soyuz inside of it. How meta. Are the blue numbers over your shoulder the targets? That, yeah. So, tech, 27,700 kilometers an hour. 17,000 is about 17,000 miles an hour, give or take. And the target altitude is 250. 250 kilometers, which is, I have to do that one out. So, 250... divided by 1.6, about 150 miles It's 156.5 miles. So that's a parking orbit, dude. Like this is the type of orbit that Apollo would have gotten into in terms of altitude, not inclination. Because if something went wrong with the Saturn V or the S4B or the third stage didn't relight for translunar injection, it's an orbit where everything will come back down. It's a decaying orbit. It's like the cell phone lot at the airport. You only park there for a second and then you got to go on to do other things. It's not permanent like parking. The parking orbit is there in case anything goes wrong and the rocket blows up or whatever. God forbid, it'll just come right back down. It'll decay real fast. Everybody does their part to make sure that doesn't happen. That'd be cool, Lego. Are these just sats? On board is 34 OneWeb satellites. They're okay. All parameters on the third stage are normal. Yeah, they're internet. It's an internet satellite constellation, kind of like Starlink. Cletus, yep. Nominal. So this cylindric thing right there, that's the satellites. Each one of these little boxes are the satellites, and then this tinfoil funnel cake that's kind of below it, that's called the Fregat upper stage. That is a hypergolic upper stage that's designed for pinpoint satellite insertion. Okay. Watch, you're gonna get a separation here. Okay, they'll vent the third stage, and now the Fregat should put it in the right orbit to start deploying satellites. The satellites will now deploy over a 3-hour period here. They'll deploy one at a time as the thing is going around to space the satellites out evenly. And also, PY is right, Kem. Where's Julia? Nikolai is a good host. Where's Julia? She was always she's very informative. We need... This is not okay. Good choice with the Russian cast. Belksy, what's up? Did Arianespace and OneWeb seriously cut their live broadcast mid-launch? Yeah.
Ну что ж, это случилось. Ракета-носитель «Союз-2-1Б» вывела на орбиту головную часть с разгонным блоком фрегаты 34 спутниками OneWeb. Это был 9-й запуск в хронологии сотрудничества Роскосмоса с компанией OneWeb. Выведение разгонным блоком фрегат спутников на целевую орбиту займет около 3,5 часов. За новостями следите на сайте и в социальных сетях Роскосмоса. Трансляцию провела команда Роскосмос ТВ и специалисты филиала ЦНКИ Космического центра «Южный». Уже в начале сентября мы встретимся снова, чтобы показать в прямом эфире работу наших космонавтов в открытом космосе по интеграции в состав МКС нового модуля «Наука». Следите за нашими трансляциями. Ну что ж, спасибо, что были с нами. До новых встреч в космосе и на Земле.
Thank you. What do you say? Thank you for watching this cast. Oh wow! Now you got the walk off the screen. Hey Nikolai, oh, you guys big shots over here. Shoot, you guys big shots over here. There we go. Oh, they got Mars over there. That's why you got. Wait, why are you guys showing the American planet over there? Where's Venus? What the heck is this about? Oh, there it was. It was only for a second, though. Why is the Earth backwards? I don't know. Look at 322.46. All right, what's up? Let them own the proto-crap planet. Savage. Are we talking about in the count, PY? Let me take a look. What do we got here? What do you want me to see? Re-entry of the Soyuz 21B second stage. Oh. 322. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. 3 2. There's the third stage firing. Hey. Up. There's the hot stage. Oh, dude, he got the... Bro. You see how it's flickering? Flipping over. It's tumbling. And it looks like it broke. Well, the Dutch are good at managing water, so I hereby claim Neptune for all Stroopkind. Yeah, you Dutch. See, I have a theory that Dutch people just secretly want to take over the world. I'm pretty sure that's what's going on. Why pink? Plasma, man. Plasma's all different kinds of colors. Blue, white, pink, yellow. Yeah. Yeah, I don't even see the code anymore. All I see is blonde, brunette, redhead. Supersonic retropropulsion for Soyuz when? Actually, Balxy, those stages come in, they have such a low ballistic coefficient that Soyuz rockets actually land relatively intact. Link close. Squish, what was your last question? I'm related to this launch, but I heard there's a space conference going on right now in Colorado by the Space Foundation. Have you heard about it? No, I haven't heard about it. Why do you think Austin's dad couldn't stand the Dutch? He knew. Yep. Yep. That's just so bloody evil. They already took over the world. You just don't know it yet. Well, you tried to. You tried to, and that didn't work. And then you even had a front for it and everything. Oh, yeah, no, we're just conducting business around the world. Yeah, I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. Is it... That is true what you say about the Dutch people wanting to take over the world. Yeah, obviously. I know. You tried already. It didn't work. It just made you so bloody evil. Didn't work, or are you laying in wait? I don't know. And then the Brits tried to do it right after you. They can't. They kind of did. Sea level's rising. It's all going to plan. They were just evil companies, not the country. You would say that. I built a chair with the almighty Science Junior on it. For Struplandia! Laying in wait didn't work. Too good for the big green. Alright. You're British. What do you know about conquering the world? Oh. It's not Lego. It's not like there's a conflict of interest here, is there? Huh? 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 You working on a novel? Huh? Brian, you working on a novel? You gonna have a catchy plot? Huh? Gonna have some friends become enemies? Some enemies become friends? Huh? Yeah, yeah, Brian, you've been working on a novel? Huh? You've been working on a novel? Huh? Oh, no, you just take your time with your novel, Brian. No, just take your time. Yeah, it'll be perfect. Sorry. Is Family Guy still funny? I don't even know anymore. Is it, though? Why is that so good? I don't know. Stereo commentary for an entire Kerbal